If you are not using auto layout in Figma, you are missing out. Here's everything you need to know. Auto layout is a powerful Figma feature, but it can be confusing. If you ever felt frustrated by the spacing, broken components, or layout that not work well, this video is for you. Today I'm walking you through how auto layout works with simple, clear examples you can apply now. We'll cover responsive buttons, spacing tricks, and smart ways to build flexible components that actually save you time. Let's jump in. Today let's talk about auto layout in Figma. This is one of the features that I use every day, and before started, just let you know that it's not straightforward to study it. You will need to put time and effort to study it well. But it's like driving. Once you understand it, everything is easy. And if you don't know auto layout, it's a feature that you give to Figma some rules, and based on these rules, the component behave, like the spacing, sizes, and more. For example, I have this text for the card t-shirt, and if I will add text to the card, the size of the card will grow automatically. I go here to rewrite this and click add much more text, and then you will see how the card grow automatically. So as you can see here, automatically without touching anything, the rules that I add to auto layout apply here. I click on Ctrl+C, and now let's see how to use it. So the first thing that I want to do is to build with your button with auto layout, and this will be the basic. And what I want to have is that every time I add text to the button, the size of the button will grow. You can see it here, add to the cart, and if I add text like this, you can see that the button size grows. So let's do it together. I have here the text add to cart, and you have two options to add an auto layout. The first one is to add a frame, add the text inside, select the frame, and click here on auto layout button. So once you click here, auto layout will apply. I click here, and now there is auto layout apply for this frame. The second way to do it is without frame, so I will copy this text one moment, I paste it here, and now with the shortcuts Shift A, I added the auto layout. As you can see here, I will add white background, and you can see here there is a frame with auto layout. Now all the auto layout features work from here. Okay, this is the panel of auto layout, and let's move one by one to see how it's work. So I zoom in, I one moment change the colors, and let's add also some radius to the corners. So let's review now the auto layout panel. I click here on the frame, and the first thing that I can do is to set the width and the height of the component. We have some options here. First of all, we can set it to fix. Fix means this is the size of the component. It will not move, doesn't matter what component we have inside. So if I add a little bit more text to this button, you can see now that the text grow, but basically the frame not. So this is fixed. The size will keep always the same, although the component inside grow. Now, if I select hug, I will click on it. You can see that the size of the button fit to the size of the text. So if I eliminate the text here, the size now is smaller. Same thing with the height. I can set it to fix, and I can set it to hug. Now, how I control the spacing inside the auto layout. Now, as you can see here, let's see, we have 8 pixels padding from all the sizes. How we do it? I select the frame, and you can see these two. This one change the padding from the right and the left. You can see this one here, and that one change the padding for the top and the bottom. For a button, normally we want to keep it like 16 pixels from the sided, but normally for buttons, the height should be fixed because it doesn't matter what text we have inside. Normally the height must be the same. So I click here 48, and then the height will be always 48 pixels, but from the sided, it will keep always 16 pixels of padding. Now you may ask yourself what this means. This input set the spacing between two elements inside the auto layout. So for example, if we have an icon here there is an icon that I paste, I move it to the auto layout, and you will see that the spacing between the icon and the text, it's 8 pixels. It's that one. It means the distance between two elements inside the auto layout. If I write it 16, you will see that the spacing grows. Just let you know that if you work with variables, you can select them from here. For example, here I will select 16, and now it's set to a variable. If you want to detach the variable, you can click here, and then it's detached. Let's take a look on this panel. As you can see here, this panel will give us the option to set the auto layout vertical, horizontal, or wrap. So what does it mean? If I set it to horizontal, as you can see here, the two elements will be side by side. But if I set it to vertical, they will be one below the other. Let's set it again to horizontal. But what is wrap? Wrap is the option that fits when you work with responsive designs. So let's see an example. I have here 3 cards, as you can see here, that you can think of it for a website. But if you want to adapt this design to mobile, the cards need to be one below the other. So one thing that I can do it's to click on vertical. But as we know, screens doesn't have always the same size. So if I click on wrap and then change the width of the frame, you will see that the last element go below. Exactly how it's working in responsive design. So if I make it smaller, the last car go below, as you can see here. Next thing to take a look is the position panel. This panel allows to locate items inside the frame with a point of reference. So for example, as you can see here, we have the cars, and if I click here on the top left, the reference point of the items in the auto layout will be top left. If I click on bottom right, they will move to the bottom right. If I want them to be in the center, I click here and then they will be in the center. There is one more option that I want to show you now from this panel, and that is fill container. So what it means? I have here the button and I can say to Figma, hey Figma, you have all this space available. Take this element and use all the space for this element. So if I click here on fill container, it will fill all the space in the container. When you work with auto layout, another thing that is important to know that not always you can set everything inside one auto layout. For example, I have a title, subtitle, price, and a button. So if I select all of them, click on Shift A, the spacing between all the elements will be the same. In that case, 11 pixels. Let's set it to 8 pixels. And now all the spacing is 8 pixels. But in my case, I want that the title and the subtitle, these two will have 0 spacing between them. So what I can do, I can select both of them. You can see here on the menu, I selected both of them. Then click on auto layout and change to 0. So I change it and now it's a little bit more advanced. So for example, the spacing here is 0. The spacing between this one and that one 8 pixels, and the spacing between the price and the button, it's also 8 pixels. So this is another advanced way to do. You can stack auto layout inside auto layout. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to LogRocket for more design tips.